Hi, I'm Matthew Critchie. I'm a general dentist in Lawrence, Kansas, and I'm currently the chair of the Kansas Dental Association's Council on Membership. What we're doing is we're putting together some video of new dentists such as myself and a few others to talk a little bit about the challenges that we faced getting out of dental school and beginning our practicing careers here within the state of Kansas. We're hoping that some of the things that we're going to discuss will help bring to light some of the challenges that we had, some of the things we wish we had done differently, and hopefully be able to provide some insights and advice to dentists that will be soon transitioning from school into practice.
What I realize now is that I can be good at my business, but that doesn't mean that I know the first thing about business. And I think that some business education is very important. You can do fillings, you can crown teeth, you can do root canals all day, but without a knowledge of how to collect that money and how to pay your taxes, and now with sales tax included in that, and what you have to do for your employees, I think some business education is very important.
I would suggest, if I had to do it all over again, I would be a business major and get all my prereqs for dental school, because you take so many of the sciences again anyway. If you can't do that or don't want to do that, I would definitely say shadow and mentor someone in the business area with dentistry, or a business for sure, and then even just take a couple classes in the marketing, advertising, maybe payroll and taxes, visit with an accountant or something like that, just to get at least a taste of what it's going to be, so you're not just floored by all the paperwork.
I know when I started, I had to go to 6 banks just to get them to loan me money, and I ended up with a bank that took, based on faith that I would succeed. They loaned me money to start practicing. I think as far as setting up a practice, we're not taught that at all. We're basically just, like I said, given the tools to do what we think we're going to be good at, and when you get out in the real world, you've got to be able to coordinate all of that with running a front desk, paying bills, having labs to cover you, having all of the different companies that come in and you buy equipment from. So it makes it really tough to know all of this. So you kind of learn by trial and error. When I know for a fact, when you get out of dental school right now, you're probably $200,000+ in debt. I think the big thing that you've got to look at is you got to live within your means, at least for that first 5 years out of dental school. What I'm referring to there is, don't go so elaborate that you've got yourself so far in debt that you can't escape, because you still have to have time for yourself when you're not practicing dentistry, and if you're working all the time, it makes it pretty hard to have a life.
Our office is a fee-for-service cosmetic practice, and so we've seen a decrease in our big veneer cases, but we've switched our marketing from cosmetics to sedation and pain, so we're kind of looking for those people who have, been in that different demographic where they haven't had care, and they need to do something now and they want to do it all at one time while they're sedated. So we've kind of switched our marketing, and we, even if with the bottom line, we do spend money in marketing and making sure that that our website looks good, that we are on the radio, that we're on TV, we're at billboards, and that we're doing things to market our practice, because it's easy not to spend money when things are low on marketing, but to keep people coming in the door is the most important thing.
If I could change one thing about my dental career, it would be having more experience in managing staff and dealing with the business side of a dental practice.
I would probably say I would have looked more into specializing. I kind of favor doing a lot of the specialties. Probably my favorite's oral surgery, and I like to do a lot of that. And being a general dentist, you get a certain amount of it, but not as much as I'd like to. So I mean, if you're in that transition where you're trying to decide when you get out of dental school what to do, I would consider looking into it before you go into general practice.
I would strongly encourage anyone that's still in school to understand, and what to take out of school is to try to concentrate on the whole, meaning that you in school sometimes you get into I'm doing operative, or I'm doing crown and bridge, or I'm doing this. I mean, I'm an orthodontist, so I see this a lot where what we call interdisciplinary cases, and that's the fun part of dentistry, but it's also the hardest part where you got to put it all together. In dentistry, sometimes you get locked into, I'm going to drill and fill over here, I'm going to do this over here. And I think when you're in dental school, if you can really, especially in that 3rd and 4th year, and you're in the clinic and you're learning things, is pick the brains of those instructors, and because you can make out of dental school what you want.
Being a mother and being a dentist in a solo practice is a challenge because maternity leave is a little bit of a question mark, but I've been very fortunate to have the retiring dentist, who is still my associate on an as-needed basis, fill in for maternity leave. There are also a lot of retired dentists or part-time dentists in the state and different organizations that can help you find a fill-in dentist for a short time. But other than that, dentistry is an excellent career with the hours that are so amenable to taking care of my kids and spending time with my family. It's just really worked out well.
I wanted to find that job that I could be working with patients and in healthcare, but could still have the balance of family and mom and working. So my dad's like, oh, because my dad's a pediatric dentist, and so he kept wanting me to come shadow him and check it out.
This great profession that she can work in, and she can work it as little as much as she wants and still be, have that balance of motherhood.
I just think it matters in the personality. If you're business minded and you think you're able to to put those systems in place to have a successful business, start your own. But if if you want to focus more on the dentistry side of it and come into something where things are set up for you, then I would probably look at buying into an existing practice. And it's two different stresses. One stress is buying practice, another one is buying equipment and making sure that your doors are open and the chairs are full.
My first job out of school, I taught part-time and worked part-time while I was negotiating on my practice. And within 4 months, I bought the practice and still at the practice. I bought the practice from another dentist. He was going back to perio school, and so he transitioned with me for a few months and then started school.
I think it matters. You buy things that you look that are going to affect your bottom line. I know there's a lot of lasers and technology out there that looks cool, but unless it really adds to your production and makes you more efficient and faster doing dentistry, then you really need to be careful of not getting in too much debt early.
In my situation, the equipment and the practice I bought had a lot to offer, and we only replaced the things as needed and then continued to add new technology as we were able to afford it, and it's worked really well for us. We now have monitors and TVs in all the rooms with intraoral cameras and digital x-rays, so we feel like we can really serve our patients well, but it was a building process to get to that point.
Well, if you're going to come to Kansas and you don't join the Kansas Dental Association, I'm going to come knocking on your door. And then, belonging to the American Dental Association has huge benefits, from insurance to information, to publications, to continuing education. So organized dentistry is where it's at.
Organized dentistry like the KDA, the Dental Society in my local area, and the ADA has been wonderful for me to stay in contact with my colleagues, to get to know my colleagues better, networking, and basically staying in touch with what's going on in dentistry and what I need to know to do my job and survive in my career. I know now that I wasn't going to know everything that I needed to coming out of dental school.
Organized dentistry is where it's at.
Take your time finding a practice. Just don't jump into the first thing that looks good to you.
We hope that some of this information has been helpful. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the Kansas Dental Association. Thank you.